Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. And tonight we have a special guest, former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan. He's joining us from Geneva. Now, he took over Nigeria's leadership in 2010 after the death of his predecessor, Umaru Yar'Adua, and ruled the continent's most populous nation and top economy until last year when he lost out to current leader Muhammadu Buhari. And he joins us now. Thanks very much, Mr. Jonathan, for taking the time out to speak to us. Now, it's been a tough year for Nigeria and a tough year, arguably, for your legacy as former leader of the country. Now, your former security advisor, Sambo Dasuki, is currently on trial for fraud, alleged to have taken billions of dollars worth of public funds meant for the fight against extremists from Boko Haram. Now, were you aware at the time of any improperly sourced funds funneled into your re-election campaign of 2015?
Thank you. Of course, this issue continue to come up, but I always insist that the matters are being investigated and they are in our own courts. And in Nigeria, when issues are before the court, you don't make comments on it. It's considered prejudice. But one thing you will also realize is that for us to have conducted elections across the country, all parts of the country, that means that we prosecuted the war against Boko Haram to a reasonable level. Otherwise, we couldn't have been in position to conduct elections across the country, and we couldn't have fought Boko Haram with bare hands. But these issues of corruption, issues of misuse of funds are being investigated before the court, and I wouldn't want to compromise the position of our laws, because while I served as the president of Nigeria, I made sure that the judiciary has their own independence, make sure that there's maximum separation of powers between all arms of government. So I haven't left office. I don't think I'll be the person to say things that will be detrimental to the judicial processes.
So outside of the case itself, let's say that there are misdeeds which are proven to have been committed during your tenure. Do you feel that you are would you feel responsible for any oversights whilst you were leader of the country?
I've said that, please, I will not comment these areas. There are sensitive areas. I wouldn't want to create more problems.
Even hypothetically?
For my country.
Even hypothetically?
Please.
Okay, well, Mr. Jonathan, over the last year, there has been arguably quite a lot of progress in the battle against Boko Haram extremists. Do you feel that the speed with which progress has been seen under Buhari risks tarnishing your legacy as leader at all?
Well, I wouldn't want to make comments that will appear as if I'm having a debate with the serving president. I've served the country for 5 years as a president, 3 years as a vice president. I've tried my best, and I will encourage the government to continue.
So how do you feel about progress made in the battle against Boko Haram since you left last year?
I cannot comment about what is happening now. It would not be proper as a former president to start making comments, positive comments or negative comments. But I can tell you that when Boko Haram started in Nigeria, we had no terror experience. We never experienced terror before. Yes, we had armed robbery and other common crimes. But terrorists are people that are not afraid to die. So you need a different mechanism to confront terrorists. You need superior technology so that you'll be able to stop them even before they attack. So we never had the equipment. But when we were confronted, we started acquiring. And before I left office, we have built reasonable capacity. And I believe with what we left behind, and of course with what the new government will also acquire, they will be able to prosecute this terror war to a reasonable conclusion.
So you feel confident that you laid the groundwork for the progress that we have seen since Buhari came into office?
Pardon, I didn't get what you want.
So do you feel confident that the efforts that you made to tackle Boko Haram whilst you were president of Nigeria laid the groundwork?
Okay, yes, of course. Of course, you know that, of course, the new government is working hard, and I believe they are still using the equipments we procured. I still believe, because of course the budget is still being debated, no new equipments have been bought. So even what the new government is using to prosecute the war against Boko Haram, those equipment were procured. And I believe that with what we left behind and the new ones they will acquire, this issue of Boko Haram will be taken to a logical conclusion.
Now, you were actually praised for the way that you accepted defeat by Buhari last year. Were you surprised at the surprise that there was so much surprise at the smoothness of your concession in last year's elections?
Well, I want the stability of my country, where the interest of Nigeria is superior to any individual interest.
Well, that's very noble of you. How have you spent the last year? You clearly must have been following progress on all fronts of Nigeria. There's been a lot of economic turbulence. What's your take on perhaps some of the options that should be taken by the country to stop the fall of the worth of the naira?
Well, I think I have left office, and as a Nigerian, I'm also interested in the future development of the country. And I believe the government is trying. I've done my best, and I don't really want to make comments on what is going on in the country. I don't think it's proper for me to do so.
So what would you feel comfortable commenting on? Why are you in Geneva?
I'm in Geneva because a particular organization which actually invited me to come while serving as the president, but I was unable to. But even after I finished serving, because of the circumstances of the election, because I ensured that there was peaceful transition, they were quite pleased, and they said that they wanted to honor me. So I just came to Geneva for that. In fact, I'm going back tomorrow through Frankfurt.
What are some of the biggest changes that you've seen under Buhari?
I don't think it's proper for you to drag me to. Please. I think, as a former president, it's not too good for me to start commenting on issues about my country. If I get back to Nigeria, anything that I think I will discuss with the president, I will discuss with the president. I have access to the president. But so I will not come and start discussing Nigeria.
But surely there must be some non-controversial issues or positive advancements or positive developments in your country that you'd be comfortable sharing with us.
One clear thing is about Nigeria that you would all appreciate is that we are institutionalizing democracy. And I believe with a stable government, quite a number of things that people look at it as grey will soon be a thing of the past. Most societies pass through this phase of development. Most societies, even the developed society, we've read the history of almost all nations. And every nation passed through different stages. And God willing, Nigeria will soon stabilize, and we are progressing very well.
So now, since you've left, your PDP party is taking a bit of a battering. Do you think that it has suffered under Buhari at all?
Well, the PDP will definitely we have some minor issues, but it's expected. We are in power for 16 years. And when we lost the presidency, definitely we'll have some kind of leadership problem, because when you have a president, everybody looks up to the president. But when you no longer have a president, it becomes difficult for the party to have a very strong leadership. So, but I believe whatever you observe will be sorted out. And people, the leaders of the party, elders of the party have been meeting. And all these perceived disagreements will soon be sorted out.
Well, there weren't really perceived disagreements. Prior to your leaving, there were already quite a few fractures within the PDP.
Well, every political party always have those misunderstandings. It's not new. It's always there. From the beginning of PDP, even before I got to Abuja as a vice president and president, there are cases where chairman of the party have been asked to step down, and some officers leave from time to time when there are issues. So it's not new. What is happening is not new. But I promise you that PDP will stabilize. In fact, by March this year, we are going in for our conventions to elect officers at the lowest level of the wards, through the local governments, through the states, through the zones. Then, of course, the national officers will be elected. That's just in March, early April. So the party will bounce back. Whatever you are perceiving, it's always happened, and I will get over it.
Thank you.
But thank you for the interest.
No, thank you very much. Former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan there, joining us from Geneva. That is, though, where we're going to have to leave Eye on Africa. Thanks very much for tuning in, and please do so again if you can. Take care.
Revisited.
Misrata, Fukushima, Banda Aceh, Grozny. France 24 returned to the cities that made the headlines. The inhabitants, the living memory of their communities, tell us about their lives, what has changed, and what their lives are like today.
Revisited, a remarkable new series on France 24.